guys, it's Angelo, and today we're having a look at the Discipline Priest Azerite traits and which ones you will want to aim for in battle for Azeroth. The Azerite traits, which have been implemented in BFA, offer a lot of gameplay possibilities, however with some clear limitations due to the way that the heart of Azeroth and therefore the entire trait system is constructed. Either way, Azerite traits definitely remind the player of artifact traits from Legion, but can be considered more diverse due to the fact that you have options to pick from rather than ultimately being forced down a given path. In this video, we'll have a short rundown of what exactly these Azerite traits are and what they do, before diving into which ones are best for the Discipline Priest and why. Now, of course, with that being said, and without any further ado, let's go right ahead and have a look. First off, let's have a quick summary, or rundown if you may, of what exactly the Heart of Azeroth, and therefore its Azerite traits, actually do for you, and what they are. If you have already watched my Shadow Priest Azerite trait video, you can essentially skip this part, as this will be a rundown you are already familiar with. I'll link the time you will want to skip to if that's the case on screen now, and as Battle for Azeroth has released at this point, and in order to not stuff information into this video which you have most likely already known before clicking it, let's keep things brief here. Your Heart of Azeroth serves as your necklace throughout the expansion and empowers your chest, your shoulder, and your helmet with Azerite traits. These Azerite traits are split via a ring system, and each ring grants you Azerite traits to choose from. You can only have one Azerite trait per ring, and 3 rings per Azerite armor piece will have more than one trait for you to choose from. Furthermore, each ring has a different type of Azerite trait for you to pick from, so the outermost ring, for example, has a mix of spec-specific, indirect healing support traits, while the middle ring has more direct healing or stat-increasing traits, and the innermost ring is utility-based, so self-heal, damage reduction, healing when stunned, you get the idea. Good, now, with that quick rundown on your Heart of Azeroth and your traits, let's take a look at which traits will be best for the Disc Priest. Slightly different this time than in my Shadow Priest Azerite traits video, we will be splitting our traits into strong traits for Mythic Plus or Dungeon, and also into strong traits for raids. Some traits will appear twice, as they are exceptionally strong in both environments, so just keep that in mind. That being said, I will also not split traits into their respective ring, as a lot of our best traits are actually competing in the same ring, making a ranking with the ring system very misleading. Good. That being said, for Mythic Plus content and for dungeons, the following traits are strong, and of course I'll be explaining why. Enduring Luminescence, Bloodrite, Unstable Catalyst, and Gift of Forgiveness. Enduring Luminescence provides a significant buff to our power word Radiance, not only granting additional healing, but also increasing the atonement duration to 70% instead of 60% of its normal duration, that is, which is very strong for any group healing situation in Mythic Plus. Keep in mind though that if you decide to stack Enduring Luminescence on multiple Azerite armor pieces, only the additional healing will increase and not the atonement duration, as that is fixed to 70%. Bloodrite gives any of your spells the chance to trigger a buff which increases your haste for 15 seconds. Whenever you kill enemies, or whenever enemies you've tagged are killed, this effect refreshes, which makes it a very solid haste buff for Mythic Plus when your group is chaining mob pulls together properly. Unstable Catalyst causes your spells and abilities to have a chance to create a zone underneath you, and while standing in it, your primary stat, in our case Intellect, is increased by a small amount. This trait is pretty strong, as the buff zone procs relatively frequently, meaning you'll have a buff to your primary stat pretty much throughout most of any dungeon. Finally, we have Gift of Forgiveness, and this trait is actually the most engaging of them all, in my opinion. Gift of Forgiveness increases the damage of your smite when at least 3 atonements from you are active on friendly players. Especially in more challenging content, where you will want to have atonement up on at least 3 targets most of the time anyways, this trait actually becomes very effective. The damage increase to Smite will of course also result in a healing increase for all attoned targets, making this trait pretty strong, as I just said. Now, these traits are all pretty strong for raiding as well, however, Gift of Forgiveness and Enduring Luminescence are definitely the most effective options when in raids. Archive of the Titans, an Azerite trait which drops in Uldir, increases your primary stat, stacking 20 times and decaying when out of combat. This Azerite trait also enables Reorigination Array while in Uldir, which also increases your highest secondary stat. This trait is definitely incredible when raiding and should always be taken here if you have it. Now keep in mind that any Azerite trait that is only obtainable in Uldir will buff you with Reorigination Array, which essentially makes any Uldir trait interesting and worth your time. These are essentially our best traits, and that being said, we also have some comparatively strong traits in our middle and inner ring. Nothing really stands out in these rings, but in comparison to their competitors, we have synergistic growth in the middle ring, giving a nice mastery buff after casting a multi-target healing spell, which of course in our case would be Power Word Radiance, and Twist Magic in the inner ring, which heals you and 4 injured allies whenever you dispel magic. Now, if you want a detailed listing of every single Azerite trait in the game, be sure to check out Men's guide over at Icy Veins, or check the Focused Will Discord channel, the link is of course in the description, where Mend and other highly skilled Discipline Priests will publish an even more detailed Azerite ranking very soon after the release of this video. Personally, I actually enjoy playing around with the Discipline Priest Azerite traits a lot more than with those of the Shadow Priest, for example, and more than those of the Holy Priest. That may very well just be my personal opinion, but the Discipline Priest actually has very thought-through traits, offering some proper decision-making of when to use certain traits, which I personally enjoy a lot. What do you guys think though? Do you like the Azerite trait system thus far? Is there anything you'd like to change, and if so, why? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, or join the discussion over on my Discord server, where fellow priests discuss things like these and much, much more all day long. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. If you'd like to stay updated on the content of this channel, then feel free to subscribe, and a special thanks as always to the growing number of patrons over at Patreon. You guys help out a lot every month. Now, have a good one my friends, enjoy your adventures in Kul Tiras and Zandalar, and I will see you all in the next one.